These places should be at the top of your list when you're planning a ghoulish road trip. And even if you don't encounter a ghost, you're likely to find something pretty interesting at each one. Bobby Mackey's Music World. Let's be real for a second. Most allegedly haunted places are hugely disappointing. At best, you can hope for a spooky floating orb or a translucent specter, or, if you're really lucky, you might get some mysterious knocking or a rattling chain. Bobby Mackey's Music World in Kentucky, on the other hand, has an invisible cowboy that beats people up in the bathroom. Seriously, they had to put up a sign out front after they got sued about it.
I shot the scallywag is what I did. Well, he took a shot at me first, so I had to teach him a lesson.
In addition to being a nightclub, Bobby Mackey's has long billed itself as one of America's most haunted places, and the cowboy ghost is only the tip of the iceberg. There's the story of Pearl Bryan, for instance, whose head was rumored to be used in a ritual sacrifice, and, of course, there's the portal to hell in the basement. Bobby Mackey's is open every Friday and Saturday with ghost tours every hour until 1:15. The Winchester Mystery House. Under normal circumstances, inheriting a vast personal fortune is a pretty good thing, even if it comes at the cost of a loved one. That's exactly what happened to Sarah Winchester when her husband, William Winchester, treasurer of the Winchester Repeating Arms Company, died. According to stories, she believed she was being haunted by the spirits of everyone killed with a Winchester rifle. Considering she raked in a $20 million gun fortune, that was probably a lot of people.
You'll shoot the fleas off a dog's back at 500 yards, Stanton, and it's pointed straight at your head!
With that in mind, Sarah moved to San Jose, California in 1894 and spent the next 38 years constructing what would eventually become known as the Winchester Mystery House. The sprawling structure features over 40 bedrooms. There are also plenty of secret passages, including a cabinet that opens up to a corridor that runs through 38 different rooms. To this day, there's a debate on whether Sarah thought she was genuinely haunted or was just an extremely bad amateur architect with way too much money. But the Mystery House itself stands as a fascinating monument even if it doesn't feature the restless spirits of 1,000 souls. The Queen Mary. If you want to combine the thrill of a luxury cruise ship with the fun of constant reminders of the hellish afterlife, have we got a vacation destination for you. The Queen Mary, a cruise ship turned hotel permanently anchored in Long Beach, California. The good news for curious hotel guests is that the Queen Mary staff offers ghost tours that are longer and more thorough than the standard non-spooky tour. Plus, the ship's non-supernatural history, from the late 30s luxury liner to World War II troop transport and back again, is actually pretty interesting even without getting into haunted creepiness. Of course, the Queen Mary's otherwise cheerful, welcoming website hypes up the ghost tours by mentioning dead sailors and people drowning in the ship's pool, which is the sort of story that makes going for a fun post-tour swim a much more depressing proposition. Waverly Hills Sanatorium. Louisville, Kentucky's Waverly Hills Sanatorium has the kind of imposing structure and creepy reputation you can only really get from a hospital, and its dark history has led paranormal investigators to declare Waverly Hills as one of the most haunted places in America.
Ghosts. I mean, they're just souls with baggage, right?
Yeah, but we would need a whole lot of them.
Waverly Hills.
Waverly's ghosts even go the extra mile in creepiness with both the chained, bleeding woman and the creeper, a shadowy figure that skitters along walls and ceilings to terrify anyone who stays in the building too long. But don't let that stop you from visiting. After a 2001 renovation project, the sanatorium offers both paranormal and historically themed tours, and a spooky haunted house that runs from late September to Halloween every year. If you want to go the extra mile, you can even book a stay overnight that comes complete with a guided paranormal investigation. Myrtles Plantation. On the one hand, Myrtles Plantation in St. Francisville, Louisiana has hyped up its ghostly reputation in ways that are truly unbelievable. It's like they were handed a list of suggestions and just decided to tick off every box. There have been rumors that it was built on a Native American burial ground and been appropriately cursed as a result. There are also stories about ghostly children showing up in the house's windows and claims that at least 10 victims have been killed there, leaving the whole site riddled with ghosts. So why anyone would want to enhance a place's reputation to make it sound more haunted? Well, the Myrtles is also a fully functioning bed and breakfast that bills itself, of course, as one of America's most haunted places. So yeah, maybe the ghost stories have been built up a bit in the name of tourism. But hey, at least there's free Wi-Fi. The Devil's Tramping Ground. Most haunted places explain their origin stories by pointing to past tragedies and restless human spirits. But North Carolina doesn't have time to deal with a middleman. Instead, they've got a spot out in the woods where the devil himself comes up from hell to dream up new wickedness for the world. The Tramping Ground is a clearing where, as local legend has it, nothing will grow and where no man yet has managed to spend the night without waking up miles away. This would tend to ignore the fact that you can actually see vegetation growing in the clearing in most photos, that a reporter from Greensboro spent the night in the center of the clearing, and that there are an awful lot of beer cans and graffiti nearby that suggest that the devil might be sharing his hangout with some local teens.
Who's that? Ted, who do you think it is, dude? Oh, yeah.
But that said, it's still worth checking out. The chance of encountering the devil is a lot more fun than trying to get some sleep on a haunted boat, and there's probably some pretty heavenly barbecue right down the road even if you strike out. Salvation!
I'm the grill guy, and I'm here to help.